Hi, y'all. It is Thursday, September 19th, 2024. My name is Jordan Chavez, and I am one of the morning anchors at 9 News. Arturo is encountering so many epic failures: the threat of the restaurant closing down, being thrown in festival jail, being rejected by his crush, and now finding out that Abuela has been taken to the hospital in ill health. Poor Arturo. Let's pick up our reading on page 157 after the first cooking icon. I learned that my mom had gone into Abuela's apartment and found her lying peacefully in bed. But when she didn't respond, my mom knew something was wrong. I imagined Abuela with tubes and monitors strapped all over her body. I wanted to go visit, but Aunt Tootie said it was better if I stayed. Abuela was at the hospital again. The last thing I wanted was to be alone in my house. A few hours passed and I couldn't concentrate. I went to my desk and opened Abuela's box. I emptied it until my desk was completely covered. I sifted through the papers and pulled out the CD, Guantanamera. I loaded the CD into my computer, but before I could click on the song, my mom knocked on the door and slowly walked into the room. She never knocked. Her lips weren't pursed in the way they got when she was focused. They were droopy, like they were tired of moving. She took a few seconds to speak, and the thump in my chest slowly began to fill the quiet. Arturo, she said, her eyes steady on mine. She stood next to me as I continued to sit at my desk. Even sitting, I was almost taller than her. Arturo? I remained quiet until finally she broke our silence. I'm sorry, mijo, but your abuela passed away tonight. And at that, my heart started racing uncontrollably. Your father will make the arrangements your abuela requested tomorrow. We've decided as a family that we will all attend Sunday Mass tomorrow morning, and we will ask the priest to pray for Abuela. The restaurant will be closed all of next week, and we will have a memorial dinner at the restaurant next Sunday. Get some rest. We have a lot of things to prepare. She walked out, went into her bedroom, and closed the door. Music crackled from my speakers. I had forgotten that I queued up a song. I recognized the words sung by the chorus. These were the same words used in the Jose Marti poem that I had read in Carmen's book, and Abuelo's letters, and Abuela's book. They were all the same. Cultivo una rosa blanca. I cultivate a white rose. En junio, como en enero. In June, like in January. Para el amigo sincero. For my sincere friend. Que me da su mano franca. Who gives me his honest hand. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. The song finished and I wanted to shut down my computer and run away. Run away and try to beat the hurt that was chasing me. But I didn't. I clicked on it again because I recognized it. And I read the lyrics again because I knew them. Then I listened to the song again, and then again, repeating quietly to myself, I failed. I failed. I failed. Dear reader, I told you not to be fooled by high expectations. You could have a plan. You could organize and have courage and work and try to make a change. But the only thing that counted in the end was the result. I thought I could save the restaurant and tell Carmen I liked her, but instead I'd gotten an arrow through my heart. I was pretty sure we were going to lose La Cocina, our second home. And on top of all of that, I'd lost Abuela. There was no happy ending to my story. Punto. Final. Total epic fail. The song continued to play, and I fell asleep, my face planted on the keyboard. 18. Right here. I woke up in the middle of the night, tucked Abuelo's box under my arm, and snuck out of the apartment. To Abuela's. My stomach sank as I walked past her old KitchenAid blender. I'd probably never be able to drink a mango batido again. Abuela's dark red curtains blocked out the light from the security lamp in the courtyard. The room was hot, and my stomach sank a little deeper. Abuela would have never let it get so hot in her apartment. AC was the one luxury she didn't mind spending money on. She'd never had that in Cuba and thought it was a marvel. What an incredible invention, she'd said, to have winter in your home and year-round summer outside. I looked over at Abuela's couch, which was covered in plastic for some reason. Abuela felt the lining, the cushions with plastic, was the best way to preserve them. That meant that you couldn't sit on her sofa if you were wearing shorts because the plastic would stick to the back of your legs. And even if you didn't have a lot of hair like me, the little you had would rip off and cause all kinds of irritation. Her recliner was next to the sofa. She got the recliner secondhand, so it wasn't covered in plastic, which meant it had conformed to her shape. I thought about the last time I'd come over. I had read her that poem, the poem that had not escaped my mind all night, the poem printed in the book, resting inside a fruit bowl on top of her coffee table. Versos Sencillos, por José Martí. Abuela, why did Wilfrido Pipo come to our neighborhood? Why do some people seem to be on his side? Háblame en español, mi amor. She would always remind me to speak to her in Spanish. Practice, she'd say. I didn't speak it very well, even though I understood most things. I'd gotten better, but only a little. I imagined Abuela saying people act like that because their centers are mixed incorrectly, like a sauce that curdles from overheating. You have to be even-tempered and not whisk yourself up too much. I plucked the book from the fruit bowl and flipped to the end. It said, Todo es hermoso y constante. Todo es música y razón. Y todo como el diamante antes que luz es carbón. The last lines of the poem said that before becoming a diamond, everything was first coal. But nothing had turned into a diamond. Nothing was the success it was supposed to be. Abuela would have the answers. But she was gone. She'd been too sick. Maybe I'd stressed her out. Now everything was ruined. It was my fault. Abuela was gone. The truth finally hit me. Abuela had died. I fell onto her couch. I desperately wanted the cushions to absorb me and swallow me whole. But instead, the plastic cover squeaked, like it was trying to make sense of me sitting down on it. I fought back tears by opening Abuela's box and looking through the letters. I took one out and read the envelope. A veces lo tienes que escribir. Sometimes you need to write it down. The letter inside was blank. What am I supposed to do with the blank page, Abuelo? I asked out loud. There were stacks of blank pages with the words, right here, written across the top. What am I going to write, Abuelo? I wasn't a writer. I didn't have any idea what to put down. I looked through the box and tried to find another letter. Maybe there was something else Abuelo had left that could give me advice. A pen fell out and landed on my foot as I dug through the box. I glanced back at the blank pages next to me. Right here. Okay, but I can't promise it will be good. I shook the pen a few times to get the ink going and placed a blank page on top of Abuela's coffee table. Before I started writing, I went to the thermostat and blasted the AC to 65 degrees. The machine rumbled to life, and soon Abuela's apartment felt like it should. I stared at the blank page, closed my eyes, opened them again, and began to write. I wrote for hours. I wrote until the pen cracked and ink dripped everywhere and made a mess of my words on the page. I wrote through blank page after blank page about the moment I was thrown into the festival holding cell, about our Sunday family dinners, about Mop and Bren and how much I wished they were here, about Carmen and how I hoped she'd still want to be my friend after what had happened, about my family, my crazy family, about Abuela and Abuelo, how I hoped they were reunited, about what our final days at the restaurant would be like if we lost it. I scribbled fast and long, sometimes not even thinking about what I wrote before I wrote it. I remembered every detail of the past few weeks. I wrote until I passed out on Abuela's sofa, a bed of papers underneath me. In the morning, I woke to the sound of my name echoing in my ear. I opened one eye to find my mom standing over me. There you are, Arturo. Your father and I have been looking for you, she said, and began organizing the papers spread all over the place. I looked at the stack of pages I had composed. Right here. Well, what a terrible couple of days that included the death of his beloved Abuela. Abuelo has encouraged Arturo to write down his emotions, and Abuelo was a smart man. Sometimes writing isn't about perfect words or great stories. Sometimes it's just a good way to process emotions. We'll have to wait until next week to find out what happens next, but at least Arturo is starting to pour out his feelings on paper.